day one of the 2026 Parenting Goal Setting and Implementation Masterclass, day one, and I am so happy to have you here. You're welcome. And so today we are talking about setting the right kind of goals in early childhood. And you know what? If you're a parent raising children in the ages of 0 to 6, consider yourself very lucky and privileged to listening to me at this point in time. I am a parent with 3 children less than 6. I can tell you that if you start parenting your children with the mindset that the first 6 years is very critical in your parenting and in their lives as they journey through life, you know that goal setting is one of the things that should be primary in what you do with your child on a daily basis. So this is going to be a 3 days masterclass where today is day one, and by the end of the third day you would have come to the point where you understand that setting goals for each of your children is something that should have started before your child is born. But now that your child is born, the next best time to start setting goals and working on those goals is today. So this section is going to be probably the best time you're spending online for the rest of the day, and I kid you not. So listen in to the end and let me know which of these conversations stood out more especially for you. Yes, I did mention that the best time to start setting goals for each of your children is before that child is born. And so if you have children right now and you're wondering, that means I am late already. No, that's not what I'm saying. What I'm trying to let us understand is that there is an urgency to what we are talking about, and we do not have all of the time to start asking, should I start now to set the goals? It is when you're done listening to this class, what I expect you to do is to grab a pen and a paper and meet your parenting partner, your husband, your wife, whoever it is. Sit down and draft what it is that you're going to start working on immediately, because the truth is the first 6 years would go by the flip of a finger, right? So just 2020, I had my first child. Somehow, it's like I'm tempted to ask, where did all of the years go by? Because by August of this year, the young man is going to be 6 years. And if my husband and I hadn't started early to put things in place, that's how at the age of 6, we'll be wondering what is going on. Why is this boy behaving like this? And we'll be in that space where we only complain and expect magic to happen so that he start behaving well. That's we didn't take time to walk him through all of the things we want him to go through and become in the long run. So successful parenting do not come by accident. Every family that you see, every child in that family is working on their own paths. It doesn't come by accident or just wishfully thinking and praying that this becomes their reality. They worked every single day and night to bring about those achievements. Let me say this. First 6 years is like a trap, right? It is that period where every young family, the couples are trying to understand themselves, they're trying to understand what is going on, they're trying to adapt to the change in environment and change in status from being single all of your lives, suddenly you're married and all of that. And while you're trying to get a grasp of this, pregnancy comes in with the challenges. Before you know it, it's labor, it's delivery. You're still trying to understand the young human being you have with all of the career and probably migration challenges that is facing you. Some of us taking for the second baby while we are still trying to understand what's going on, what the first one is trying, it wants us to do. And before you know what's going on, a third one comes. And so in that space, most parents are in a survival domain. They're just trying to survive. And in that instance, the children also joins the status quo, just trying to survive. They don't understand what's up with mommy or daddy. They don't understand what it is that they will do and mommy and daddy will be happy. They're just trying to survive. And this is a bad space for anybody, both for the parents and for the children. So in this class, I'm going to walk you through things that you can put in place in the first 6 years. They are really simple. They don't cost you much of your time or any other resources, but there are things that, if put into place well and long enough, will give you the space to sort yourself out as an adult while also giving your children the scaffold to stand strong in the years to come. There are 3 basic things that could happen when we fail to set goals for our children. Number one is that there is going to be chaos. Imagine that there is no goals in many of the important things that concerns you and your child the first 6 years. It means that today you could one children to stay at the dining to eat. Tomorrow, you want them to sit on the floor in the parlor to eat. The next tomorrow, you would want them to stay in the kitchen. Thereafter, to be in their room. They don't really know what it is focus on during mealtime, and there is no specific place that is associated with mealtime in the house. Children can as well one day want to sit on your bed to eat, and the food will mess your duvet or your bed sheet, and you're angry and all of that. And, in that instance, yes, your anger is justified, but because the child hasn't been prepped to know that there is a way we eat food in this house, there is a place to eat food in this house, right? That could be a mealtime goal. So there is chaos, and even when you're trying to correct, it's still a chaotic correction because there is no pattern at all. So when you fail to set goals, you're opening the door to chaos in your parenting. The second can happen is that you're always trying to catch up. What do I mean by this? You go out somewhere, you see a child that is of the same age with your child doing something that you've never tried your child, or you've never prepared your child to do, or you've never given your child the opportunity to practice, and you're simply saying, hey, this is my child's age mate. If this child could do this, my child could do that. So in that instance, you're not trying to get your child to catch up with something that if you had set a goal on it prior, your child would have been excelling in it at that point. And then the third thing that we'll be looking at that could happen when you fail to set goals is that your child will automatically inherit challenges with executive functioning skills. So executive functioning skills is a set of mental skill, right, that helps us to plan, organize, execute, and evaluate things. For instance, you want a child to wash plates. Washing plates or cooking is core executive functioning skill. So when your child is washing plates, the child knows that I'll have to arrange the plates. The child knows that, okay, I should get two bowls, one for washing, one for rinsing. I should put soap. I should get sponge. I should get something to place the rinsed plates on. And when the child is done washing, the child knows, oh, I should tidy the sink. I should wash the sink off. I should wash the bowls that I use in washing plates, and I should put them somewhere. And when the child is done, the child also knows to dry the floor where he or she stood to wash plates. And over time, this could seem simple, but I tell you that over time, it builds core problem solving skills. My own son, my first son, started washing plates when he was 3 years, and that was in December of 2023. And up until today, when you ask him to do something, most times he waits to say, I need this, I need this, I need this, and he will gather them. Sometimes he won't say anything, but you take his time to stand. And in that instance, I know he's thinking. So he will gather the things he needs, and then he start working. And these are things that, setting goals, right? Setting goals for your child helps that child to understand that there is a way to do things. And that is especially why we are having this conversation today. Look at 4 strategies to setting goals. 4 key strategies to setting goals. Number 1 is to set goals from inside out. And what does this mean? Setting goals from inside out means the goals you're setting for your child will either have to be a goal that you're already functioning in, or a goal that you're willing to start functioning in. What do I mean? You want your child to have their rooms tidied up every night, or maybe when they wake up. It means that if that child happens to stray into your room in the morning, your own bed should be dressed. So this is what it means to set goals from inside out. So there are 3 models of setting goals from inside out. Number 1 is identity. Number 2 is process. Number 3 is outcome. So you want to identify with the goal you're setting. So you want a child who is organized. You also have to identify as a parent that is organized. Put your clothes where the dirty clothes used to be. Get up in the morning and dress your bed. Put your things where they should be. And oftentimes, when we start with this identity, we're always in a better position to teach our children the process that will actually give them the outcome of the goal we are setting. Key strategy number 1. And key strategy number 2 is leverage developmental milestones in goal setting. What do I mean by this? You have a child who is between the ages of 1 and 3. You should know that one of the developmentally appropriate skill that child should develop is potty training. So you could start by having that child go to the toilet, wash hands often, get comfortable with the things in the toilet, right? If you happen to have an older child, for instance, I have a 15-month-old baby boy, and I also have an older son who is about 5 years. So each time my 5-year-old wants to go and wee, while he's standing in the restroom and wee, I'm staying with the young one and saying wee. What am I trying to do? I'm trying to let him know exactly what wee-weeing is so that he gets comfortable with it. We haven't actively started potty training him. He's actually getting used to what this activity is called, and he's getting ready for it himself. So that is what I mean by setting goals, leveraging developmentally appropriate skills in goal setting. Now, key strategy number 3 is identify the strategies and systems to get each goal achieved. For instance, let's go back to having a child who dresses his room or his bed each day on waking up. All right. So number one strategy is that you also get your own bed dressed. Okay. And that you teach your son the process. So once you wake up, don't wait until you've brushed your teeth. Don't wait until you've taken your bath. Don't wait until you're ready for school because you can forget. So once you wake up, dress the bed. That is strategy number 2. Right. So strategies are like the steps that you teach your child or you follow yourself to get that goal achieved. That is strategies. Systems are now things that hold you accountable. Right? Number one could be that you have a sheet pasted somewhere in your child's room that you label bed making tracker. You write the months. So day 1, did I dress my bed when I woke up? You tick it. Day 2, did I dress my bed when I woke up? No. You make a dot that shows you didn't make your bed. The next tomorrow, did I make my bed when I woke up? Yes. Give a tick. So that is a system that is holding your child accountable. Another system that you could put in place is that each day your child actually dressed his bed in the morning, he could get an extra meat. That would serve as a system that gets him in the space where he wants to actually work with this goal that has been set for me. Key strategy number 4 is to set an evaluation or tracking moment for each of the goals. So let's still go with your child dressing the bed in the morning after waking up. By weekends, Saturdays or Sundays, you sit to look at that sheet. Or maybe at the end of the month, you sit to look at that sheet together with your child as you're printing the sheet for the next month. And so what this does is that your child is getting to understand that for every goal that I don't work hard on, something happens. So if I don't do it, there is an X. If I do it, there is a tick. And over time, your child gets in that space where actually he decides to actually make his bed without being reminded. At any point where it becomes a habit, your job is done. Because goals in early childhood should focus on habits first before behaviors. Habits first. That's why you should make sure that whatever goal you're setting for your child is one that by the time your child develops a habit around that goal, it will reflect positively on your child's behavior. I hope that is clear to us. All right. In the Royalty Conclave program, which is a group parenting community that I run for parents with children within the ages of 0 to 6, on registration, I give parents a free journal that they can write on a daily basis. And then by the end of the week, they're able to track what the week was like, the goals that they focused on, how did they achieve it, the tools that we give on the program. So tools are like daily voice notes and activities that tells you what to do with your child each day. Part of what we do in the Royalty Conclave program. Just if you want to know more about the Royalty Conclave program, check Seller Store link in the bio, in the YouTube bio, and you get all of the information that you want to know about the Royalty Conclave program. The next cohort is kicking off in February, and if you really want to get in, you want to start your journey of raising your child like a king or a queen, which he or she actually is, and you want to join the next cohort. You'll be running from February till January 2027. So it's a 1 year long program. So by now, I know that you're pumped up. You're really thinking, which goals am I going to set for my child? I'm going to give us what I call goal focus filter. So goal focus filter is something that lets you, decide truly on the goal that you want to set. And hey, let it not be more than 3 goals at a time. And then the beauty of what we do in the Right to Complete program is that every month there is one core thing we are focusing on that applies to every child in the ages of 0 to 6. So if you really have a child within this spectrum, you want to be in the Right to Complete program, because by the time you're done staying in the community for 1 year, you would have given focus to 12 different goals. At least if you follow the activities in the program, you would have followed 12 different goals both you and your child will benefit from. And these are things that are specific and core to children within this age range. All right, so number one goal focus filter is, what does my child need most this year? You have a child who is 6 months and who has been exclusively breastfed. You know that by the time your child is getting to 5 months, you want to start having that child close to you when you're eating, so that the child can see the hand and mouth movements so that the child will understand that, oh, this is food and it's okay if it enters my mouth, right? I also want to be in that space where if your child had only been fed from bottle, you want to progress to probably doing cup and spoon so that the child can actually get used to the semi-solid foods that you start first. These things could seem really, does it really matter? It does matter. By 6 months, most mothers, are in that space where they're like, finally, so I can go out without the burden of making sure that I express enough milk and all of that, so my child can take something else other than breast milk. But then you didn't prepare that child to take the other semi-solid without sucking it from your breast. I tell this from experience because my last child wouldn't take anything that is not sucking from me, and even when we put it in the bottle, it was still trouble. So I realized that I actually didn't prepare him to feed from cup and spoon and from any other source, like somebody dipping a hand inside the cereal and putting in his mouth, or dipping soup and all of that. So it was something that I started working on. So sometimes the question is, what does my child really need most at this age? Your child is 3 years, or your child will be 3 years this year, and your child will be starting school for the first time. You need to start building independence in your child. Part of that independence is language. Getting your child to be in that space where the child can say what they want. You also want to get that child in the space where the child could actually do a few things by themselves. Because these are the things that are going to stand your child out in school and actually not open him or her up to bullying, either by the peers or by the teachers. Now you could say, is it right that a child will be bullied in school? No, it is not right. But somebody will get to be bullied eventually. It doesn't have to be your child. And this is why we are talking about this. So your child is starting school for the first time this year. Is going to start school for the first time this year. There are goals you should set to prepare that child for independence. Goal focus filter number 2. What feels hardest for my child? So your child has an issue with somebody saying no, or would you asking him or her to drop something he's having that you shouldn't have? How do you get around it? Okay, so I said I have a 15-month-old son. I noticed that even before he turned 1 year, if he's holding something I want to collect that thing from him, he's going to throw himself backwards. And sometimes he will have to hit his head on the wall. And he will cry and all of that. And I said, no, we need to find a way around this. That was how we came up with a song. And this song, if you want to collect something from him, we sing the song. And then we smilingly collect it from him. And even the children knows the song. So that was part of the strategies we used to actually bring him down, to actually tick off tantrum when we want to collect something from him. There are times when he wouldn't want to give it in, he will hold on to it longer, but eventually the tantrum is not as bad as it would have if there was no song. So what feels hardest for your child now? It could be mealtime, going to bed at night, and all of that. So set your goals around what feels hardest for your child in the moment. And finally, goal focus filter number 3. Where do I want more calm, more connection, or confidence? It could be mealtime. I want my child to be able to eat calmly without crying. How do you do that? It means you need to make mealtime fun. It could be that you dance with your child before you start feeding him or before you start eating, depending on the child's age. It could be that you say that when we finish eating, we're going to dance together, or we're going to take the plate to the kitchen and wash the plate together. If there is one thing that my daughter wants to listen to, asking her to come and wash plates. Like, she loves it like it is food. So even if she doesn't want to eat a particular food because it's not her favorite, recently we realized that her favorite food is beans, and anything that is eaten with beans. So if you give her swallow, you're looking for her trouble. But she still has to eat swallow anyway. So one of the strategy we employed is that, say, Mama, eat your food first. When you finish, we're going to the kitchen to wash plates, and I'll supervise you. And she'll say, okay, she'll get to eat her food. So what area do you need more calm, more connection, more confidence in your parenting? School preparation, doing homework, answering this question will let you know which area to focus on in your goal setting. Which of these spoke to you the most? The strategies, the goal focus filter. One of the things you want to realize is that parents do not fix children. They design environments that support development. I'll say that again. Parents do not fix children. They design environments that support development. Successful parenting is not an accidental thing. It was planned, implemented, reviewed again and again and again. And this is the goal of parenting goal setting. I hope you get the idea. I hope you catch the spirit. And I do hope I pick up your pen and your paper today to set up that one, that two, that three goals that you want to start immediately with and for your child or your children. And do not forget to share what you learned from this session with your spouse, because parenting is best done in groups, not in isolation. And that groups starts with your spouse. Do not start goal setting for your children and champion it all alone. You can start alone, but bring your spouse into what is going on. That's how it becomes a family thing and not just a mommy or a daddy thing. Did this also speak to you in a different way? Go ahead and share this video to your family and friends who are also raising young children. Do have an amazing day and see you tomorrow for day 2.